welcome all of you to this virtual sacred space, where we meditate on our dreams and our visions for a better world. And we turn our attention over and over again each Sunday, simply because we need to, where when all seems lost, we are here to uncover and to seek the path forward, to be lifted in love. In the spirit of intentionality that some know as prayer and others as meditation and some know simply as being fully present to life, by taking a moment to stop and to breathe and to feel yourself grounded and rooted in this beautiful earth on this beautiful day. Remember that we are here, not just minds, but bodies. And you bring your hopes, our hopes and dreams for a better world into being with each breath. It is like our dreams, our visions, our love flowing through you, yearning to be carried into the next moment. And know that as you breathe the same molecules of air that have been breathed by everyone who has ever walked this planet. And so know that we are all literally connected to each other. Already it can feel like there is so much uncertainty and so much going on. And just when everything was finally, maybe for a moment, beginning to feel settled, and then this week happened. Personally, I don't know about you, just been feeling overwhelmed by it all. Feeling like there has been no time to breathe. All of this may have been very shocking to some of you, but I suspect it was not surprising to many of you. Our president certainly has been encouraging it, encouraging violence and encouraging the use of force for at least the past 4 or 5 years. So why was it shocking to see an attempted coup on our democracy? Perhaps I suggest it's alarming because of what it may mean for the future of our democracy and for the future of our most sacred values. Or maybe it's alarming because it contradicts so deeply the narrative that many of us were told about America. We might say, this week is not America. We are a democracy. But of course, I tell you today that this week, this is America. This is exactly what America is made of. This is exactly what America has been. Slavery, Native American genocide, segregation, redlining, corporate greed, the myth of trickle-down economics, over-policing. This is America. In fact, I would suggest that America is one long story of a crowd of angry white people breaking into someone else's house and demanding their way and taking what they want, while ordinary people sit back and let it happen because the status quo allows them to lead comfortable lives. This is white supremacy, and this is America. Yet it is still shocking. It is still shocking to those of us whose lives are not directly threatened by our culture of white supremacy. What happened this week may not be surprising, but it is still a symbol asking us to wake up and see America for what it truly is and always has been. To see the pain and the suffering that Black and Indigenous people of color suffer every day. To see the struggle that people are living in every day. But it is not just that. It is a call to see the struggle and to join in the struggle, to know that we have a responsibility to join in the struggle. To see that, yes, this is America, but America is also something beautiful, is also a place of complex and sacred truth too. Because America is not just all of this pain and suffering and oppression. America is also the history of people who engage in righteous resistance and who still survive and live lives of love. So America did not begin with white people arriving on these shores to take what they wanted. America's story is much more complex. And so I hope that this moment in time asks us to awaken to that truth as well. To know that from the beginning, people have been struggling against tyranny and showing us how to stand up to tyranny. From the beginning of indigenous resistance to white people, resistance of the people who were enslaved, people living and loving even under brutal circumstances. America is a history of underground networks trying to free people from slavery, of workers striking for their rights, of marches for freedom and peace, of protest, of nonviolent resistance, and of people for centuries speaking truth to power, even when power would not listen. This is America too, and it is so beautiful and so sacred, and we are all a part of it. I'm not here to chastise you this morning, because I know that many of you know this already, and many of you are participants in the struggle. Many of us who are people of conscience are participants in the struggle. But we are here this morning, and I am here this morning simply to suggest that we see this moment as an opportunity. Recognize that we can never go back to some semblance of whatever normal was in this country before. And although that things have become overtly terrifying, to know that things have always been unjust for many, but to know that we cannot go back, we must continue to revision what America can be. So maybe in that sense, this coup can become a symbolic moment for us to show the need for a true cultural revolution in this country. Remember this, there were 15,000 people at the Capitol this week, but there were millions who participated in the Women's March, the Black Lives Matter protests, the March for Our Lives, climate protests, millions. And there were only 15,000 people at the Capitol this week. So remember, those millions are America. This is America. Don't feel like we need to find a sense of unity and compromise with fascists, because meeting halfway between collective liberation and fascism is still far from liberation. So instead of seeking compromise, it's our job as UUs to listen to the prophetic visions of people who tell us what a truly free and liberated America can be. One where true unity is not to listen to tyrants who would take power by force, but to listen to people who would show us what liberation really can be. Black Lives Matter activists, reimagining what public safety can look like. Young people drawing our attention to the climate crisis, asking us for sensible gun laws. Teachers mentoring minds. Artists creating visions of beauty, and scientists helping us to uncover truth. And so we must have courage to support the work of these visions and these people and join them. You might think now that this is an overtly political justice sermon, and you might ask me where the reflection on spirituality is today. I'll tell you this, it's impossible to separate the political from the spiritual. Our faith is dead cold if it does not move us to make our world a better, more just and loving place. Our faith is useless without visions for justice, because our faith tells us that none of us are free until all of us are free. So if we want a different America, it is going to take all of us, creating a new world of care and love and connection and justice and liberation. What is the use of our faith if we do not move towards that? What is the use of our faith if it does not help us make our world a better place for everyone? We don't tout a belief in heaven here in this congregation or in Unitarian Universalism. Rather, we work to make this life, this world a heaven for everyone, to build something beautiful and just where all are called in. This is our most sacred task in life. It doesn't have to be completed in your lifetime, and I can promise you it will not be. But the process of building in it and engaging in this work, that is where we find our salvation, our heaven. When we are in the midst, when we realize that 500-year history that we are a part of the pain and the suffering, but also the folks who have been struggling towards it since the very beginning. That is our heaven here. That is what we are called to do. And now it is your turn to take it up, and all of our turns to take it up. It is your turn. This is America. Make it so.